All right, welcome back. In February, remember, is American Heart Month, and we have one of CIS's finest with us today, and Dr. Pradeep Nair. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Martin.
Good. I know you have been busy. You've been there, what, about 10 years now?
It's going on 10 years, yeah. It's been a great ride coming from Western PA. I really adopted South Louisiana as my home.
Yeah, and I tell you what, such a great story at CIS, and just the amount of doctors that we brought in from other areas, but it seems to work out well for everyone, doesn't it?
It does. I think the people are great down in Louisiana. That's one of the things that kept me here, but our practice is second to none. Yeah. There's no question.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me ask you, because it's Heart Month, we focused on different things. We've talked about this a lot, but cardiovascular disease, especially in our area, how prevalent is it still?
It's extremely prevalent. You know, I think it's been several years since I had this discussion about heart disease, and unfortunately, the statistics or the stats, I mean, they haven't changed in almost 10 years. In our area in Louisiana, it's still the #1 killer, heart disease. You look at in the United States, Louisiana ranks up there around #8 in the country, and as far as states are concerned, with mortality from heart disease. We're making inroads. I think if you look at the map closely, there's a little area that's a little lighter than the other darks, and that's coming from this Bayou region, believe it or not. Really? And so I think we are making a little bit of inroads in treatment, but we have a long way to go.
Wouldn't it be nice if all the regions would be a little lighter?
Yeah, I mean, we have CIS offices all over the state, and they're all doing a great job. And I think working with our patients moving forward, it's going to be extremely valuable to try to get everybody on board in fighting this disease.
I know y'all preach, Doc, all the time, regular checkups, regular, and some people just say, I'm feeling good, I'm not going in, but let's preach it again.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we're missing as a community is we're getting to disease too late, and we really have to try to get past that. I mean, if we could prevent disease, we can really make a true impact on that statistic. And how do you impact this with prevention? Well, you just mentioned it, checkups, but who are the ones who really need to be checked up? If your mom, if your dad, first-degree relative, a brother or sister, had a heart attack, they were young, maybe, you're just concerned, like they had it, doc, am I going to get it? There are screening tools we have available to us now, like calcium scores and just doing a simple EKG, checking your blood pressure, ABIs, ankle brachial index, a lot of tests to screen for this heart disease early on. And so these patients, I think one of the things in their lifestyle, they don't want to come in every 6 months. If you're a healthy person, we're not even asking that. I mean, maybe once a year, once every 2 years, if things are looking good. And if you have really, really low risk, I think your primary cares can take care of it. But at least having that one evaluation with a cardiologist, in my opinion, is a good idea. If you're diabetic, that's another one. Diabetes and heart disease go hand in hand.
We live in South Louisiana. We all want to go to crawfish balls, and everybody wants to have a few toddies here and there. But what are some of the best ways, your advice, to keep it bridled, heart disease?
Yeah. Like my philosophy as a cardiologist, to be quite honest, is we're human beings, and the human body and each individual carries their own set of ideals and the way they're supposed to live their life, right? Some people, I know patients who've been smoking for their entire life. They're in their 80s and they're smoking, and they don't have a bit of disease. But they're just the anomaly, right? I think most of us will not be that lucky. And when I talk to my patients, and my patients who may be watching, I think the most important thing is that we have to think of cardiovascular disease and how we fit in our lifestyle as moderation, right? You go to the crawfish bowl, you enjoy it, right? But we're not going to the crawfish bowl every day, right? And I think once in a while, we all have our vices in life. But if we can take that into a moderation, in patients with severe disease, really, really watching what you're doing, avoiding this excessive salt intake, it's going to be so important to help you keep you out of the hospital, But all in all, I think, moderation is the key to good heart disease and maybe to life.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let's cut this segment short because I want to come back in the next segment. There's so many firsts at CIS. I want to give Dr. Nair a chance to answer a lot of those because I've been around for a while. There's many, many firsts. We'll be right back. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Parabon General Health Systems, modern technology, and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. South Louisiana Bank, it's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. Alford and Associates, for all of your insurance needs. CIS, Cardiovascular Institute of the South, the highest quality cardiovascular care available. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. All right, we are back with Dr. Pradeep Nair with CIS, and he's been around for a while, but over the years, I've covered many firsts. I was telling Bev before the show, it seemed like every year or every 6 months, there was something new that was happening. Y'all were just on the cutting edge for so many years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it really stems back to our founder, Craig Walker. He's the reason I'm here. I came down to train with him almost a decade ago now. And, we have a bunch of doctors who kind of followed that lead. And the first are, if you look at his mission statement that he first created, at the top of that list was technological superiority. That was one of the number one things on his mission statement, followed by research, followed by education, and compassion and communication. So that's our CIS mission statement, created by Craig Walker early on. He was the one that placed that first stent in the patient in the coronary.
That's amazing that mission statement was spot on even today.
It is. It is. And, I look at that mission statement and it's my medical commandments, I look at that and I want to abide by that, but I want to do right with our patients. I want to provide the best service to our patients. And a lot of that stems with our CIS and what we do at the cutting edge. We really, in the country, and I would say even now in the world, we are the first in many peripheral vascular interventional tools, helping to refine and show that we can actually defeat the disease with some of the tools that we have available to us. But you have to start with people who are technically skilled and able to utilize these devices. And I think that's where we come into play, because we're able to provide that based upon our group and our skill set.
When we think of the heart, we were trained way back, before y'all were even around, to think of the heart just as the heart, not the whole cardiovascular system. Yeah. Y'all have really done a great job of putting the whole system into play.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the heart's connected to the arteries, and then the arteries are connected to the veins, and the veins are connected to the heart. So it's a big circuit. Right. And when you deal with the heart, you have to start thinking about the other systems. The most important thing, though, is, we start with the heart. We're trained cardiologists, right? So in our training, when I was in training, I really focused solely on the heart and became an expert in cardiac disease mainly. There was very little training in peripheral artery disease or venous disease back in those days for cardiologists. And it was surprising. It's quite amazing. If you think about venous disease, there was really none. And that's still an issue that's going on today in the veins. But you come down to a place like Houma, Louisiana, and the education that you receive and that you learn about is the entire body. And that's where now we're looked at as experts in that field, in both treating arterial disease and venous disease in patients where, the prevalence, the number of patients suffering from these conditions is so high.
Look at the amount of amputations that we used to have in this area.
Yeah.
Y'all have really made leaps and bounds in that area.
Yeah. It's a testament not only to what we can do. We've gotten better over the last years, decades in what we can do to opening up blockages, and technology has really helped spearhead this. But it's really when we talk about peripheral artery disease and venous disease and wounds, patients who are really suffering, it's a team sport. We work closely with our primary cares. We work closely with our endocrinologists. You got to get the diabetes under control to get the other wounds under control. Our podiatry colleagues have been phenomenal. And I have to give a shout out to our wound care team, Terrebonne General, and I give a special shout out to Lena LaBeouf if she's listening, because I love those calls that she gives me about my patients or any of our patients who have wounds that are not healing, because that alerts us to when we need to address issues sooner. So it's a team sport all in all, and I credit the entire team.
When you see disease, especially in the legs and the limbs and all now, like you said, you were first trained on the heart. You probably pick up things so quickly now that you see. Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like second nature now. You do it for so long. We're able to identify things quickly. Critical issues that come through the ER. We start with the emergency room physicians, and then they call us, and we're able to identify emergent issues pretty quickly. It's those chronic conditions that are sometimes hard to figure out, and especially some of these peripheral vascular disease issues in the legs that are sometimes awfully challenging to figure out. You got so many masquerading symptoms that can happen, and my patients know all well about this. They may have some blockages in the arteries. They may have some issues in their varicose veins, or they may have lymphedema, another condition that's problematic. But it masquerades with back pain. It masquerades with
in your legs could come from your back or your heart.
Absolutely, and it's a challenge. But that's where, we need the entire cohort of our team in Houma and in our region to kind of help out. We can identify if it's a vascular problem, but there may be other conditions that are contributing that may need to be addressed. But it's those chronic conditions that are more challenging, in my opinion, to sometimes diagnose because of that.
When should somebody go see a guy like you? What are they experiencing?
Yeah, I would say, honestly, if you're just never sure if something, you may be having some pain in your legs, right? You may be having pain in your chest, short of breath, any symptom whatsoever, maybe you're not sure, we can help you get to an answer. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I think if you're concerned about, you have diabetes, you have a family history of heart disease, or you have something, please, don't let it linger to a wound, right? If you have pain in your legs, it may be something else. Yeah, I think that's certainly plausible, but, come get it checked out, and we can address
safe
it.
Than sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
In closing, Heart Month, then 25 years of the Horizon.
Yeah.
This year, that's going to be big.
It's huge.
And that has done so much for the entire world, hasn't it?
That goes to the tenet of the mission statement of education.
Yeah.
So 25 years of educating the world, and now, Martin, we actually have 14 regional conferences, which I just came back from one in Nevada, by the way, where we're educating around the country. So it's been a really amazing ride. And I think the mission that we have at CIS is really going international now. So, and I think it's a good mission to have, and I'm proud to be here.
Dr. Nair, thank you for joining us, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Martin.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
There you have it. Important news here. We'll take a break. We have a lot more on Bayou Time. Don't go away.